Hey, beautiful women. It's lovely and chilly here in Shell Harbour area, and I hope everyone had a beautiful, beautiful Mother's Day, whether you're a live mother, you know, future mother, past mother, present mother. If you have, if you're a woman, you've got mother qualities, right? It's just the way we are. And so today I wanted to talk about living in the moment. I actually was living in the moment yesterday. I'm just going to go and find me on here so that I can check in with anyone that's watching live. There I am. Yesterday I was living in the present moment and in the magic myself, and didn't even come on and say Happy Mother's Day to anyone. Hey Nicolette, lovely to have you here. I just sat in the moment of having my day to myself. I've got one daughter, she's overseas at the moment. My son was in Canberra at a wedding thing that he was doing. And so I went up to Sydney and saw my mum, and on the way back I was reflecting on, you know, being human and living in the magic of our amazingness, right? We are amazing. Women are amazing. We have this amazing ability. Hey Marianne, lovely to have you on here too. Happy Mother's Day to both of you guys. So, ladies, I always say guys. And so I was just reflecting on how we think of ourselves as human, right? And how we limit ourselves and we don't live in that powerful magic, the creative magic that we have as women. We're really, really powerful, and we've got this beautiful magic energy. Like, we can create in our womb, we can create another human being in our womb, right? Such an amazing special thing to be able to experience. And so I was thinking about living in the magic, and I was thinking about, you know, how I have in one way or another been in flow with the magic in my life pretty much all the way through, but I didn't know it. I didn't know that I was in that space. You know, I had these intuitive like hits that would come. I remember when I was really, really young, walking past the TV, and Woodstock was a replay of Woodstock, or it was on the news or something. Anyway, there was all these hippies dancing around and loving stuff, you know, and in this really beautiful high vibe. And I remember having this moment. I must have been like 6 or 7 years old or something, and I had this moment of, oh my gosh, I've come down too late, and then having this like, come down from where and too late for what? Like, so I didn't have this awareness that I was sort of in the magic in one way or another all my life. Who knows what I'm talking about? Like, have you got memories of little flashes of things that have sort of given you a hint that there's more than just being in this human body, right? And so there was all these little moments, but often these moments came after a catalyst, came after something, you know, like what we would call a traumatic experience, what we would call, you know, a dark night of the soul, what we would call, you know, a deep reflection in the contrast of living as this human being, you know, and thinking that this is all we are, but then having some sort of revelation from that, and stepping into that higher power, that higher knowing, that higher experience of ourselves. And so that's what I want to talk about. Living in those moments, they don't have to be just these little flashes, because as I've grown and experienced and really lived in the faith of that, like this inner knowing. So when I first spiritually woke up, I like very, very much grounded woman. Like I'm someone that needs science-based information. My head's quite scientific, in my, I think it is anyway. And I need evidence to prove that something works or not. And I used to use myself as a human guinea pig to see, okay, I've got this concept that's come to me in some way or another, and so I use that to see if I could get results from it. And from that, I've watched this incremental growth as I've moved along in my development. 25 years. I've got the heater on and it's drying the air out. 25 years in as a healer this year, right? We're going to do something special about it in September. And so, just a side note. And so, I'm feeling really connected at the moment, and it's because I'm experiencing the emptiness. Massive change equals deep understanding of what is actually at play behind it all. That we do actually choose our path, and it presents to us as we have chosen it. Absolutely. Isn't it friggin' fucking amazing? Because it's so exciting to realize when you make that step and recognize that you are more than this body, and that you actually have the power to make these steps and to really fine-tune where you're going. It's such a liberating experience. And so, as I was saying, 25 years as I've moved into this, I've recognized that all the way along I've listened to this intuitive, these little hits, right? These intuitive hits that have happened. And when I go into doubt, that's when I'm pulled away from those things. When that little person, that little, the human that's called Elizabeth, when she starts getting in the way of the flow of that, those downloads that sort of happen, that's when I go off track. And I can imagine that anyone that's listening knows those moments, right? Those moments where we start listening to that old stuff, listening to the old behaviors, listening to the doubts, the fears, not good enough, the people pleaser, all of those things that we grew up believing about ourselves because we started making these decisions about who we are. And the whole place, this matrix that we're in, is conditioning us to forget our power, and so it is, so it will be, so this is the way it is. It's not a bad thing. It's actually designed this way so that we can discover ourselves again, so that we can wake up to our power, so that we can experience whatever we want to experience, and we can be part of the higher process of reawakening. Because if we remembered who we are all the time, personally I think it'd be rather boring, actually. I think that's why the source of everything that some call God, and others, all it is, whatever your language is, had this, this is what I am. I like to experience myself. So what an amazing, intelligent process to actually, break into pieces, duality to start with, masculine and feminine, and then seeing this break and break and break until there's all of these holographic experiences of the whole, all forgetting that they're part of a bigger aspect, that they're this powerful being, right? And that's what we're here to do. We're here to remember those things. And so when you're in flow, when you're listening to that magic, when you recognize those things, like people, the little things that happen, like people, what is it, the car park angel. A lot of people do the car park angel, right? So there's this angel that every time they go into the shopping centre or wherever they go, they know they're going to get a car park out the front. How much do you believe that this is an angel that's allocated a car spot for you? And how much do you believe that you're actually just setting an intention because you're in flow with that? All of those beings of the universe go, oh yes, and they come into this vibrational match with you, right? So sometimes in the spiritual communities, we can give our power away to our higher self, our spirit guides, to angels, even to into God, right? Totally believe my angel goes and rearranges the cars for my benefit. Absolutely, absolutely. However, how much are you allowing yourself to recognize that the very nature of setting the intention, the very nature of asking that angel to be part of that is what keeps that going. So you have to play a part in this, right? You have to be part of that process. And so it's all me. Absolutely, it's all me, because we are the angels as well, right? Like that's who we are on a higher level. We are those. That's just part of our higher process. And yet here we are on the planet, listening to TV and the news or whatever's going on. Oh my gosh, I should do a whole session just on how you should not watch TV. If your vibration is watching programmed television, then you are unconsciously being held down in a hostage position to not shine your light, to not experience all of your potential, to not raise your vibration, to not be a creator, all of those things. When we are really being influenced by what other people think, what's going on in the world, what's going on the television, all of those things are influencing us. When we're being influenced by that, we're being held down into just this physical form. This is just me, this is all I am, right? And we have moments of going back in. People say, once you're awake, you're always awake. Well, actually, that's not true. We step in and out of being awake all the time, because this part of ourselves is, put your name in the space, this part of ourselves is really conditioned to forget our magic, to forget our higher vibration, to forget our power. It's the way the system is, and so we can continuously, we're re-experiencing ourselves on a continuous basis, right? Over and over again. Every time we wake up, we get the opportunity to make new choices, new decisions, and new experiences of who we are. And yet, the whole system's designed so that software in the background is holding us back into these old patterns of behavior. So if you're struggling with anything at the moment, then that part of you has taken hold, and you're not living in your highest potential in that area of your life, right? If you're listening to what's going on in the world and being concerned about it, then you're being sucked into that matrix again, right? Who's watched Matrix 4? It was so good. So many people had different opinions of it, but it was so good because basically Neo forgets, right? Neo forgets and he gets caught in the matrix again. And so it's such a spiritual movie, that movie, because it's about, and the way it ends, for those that haven't watched it, I'm not gonna do a spoiler alert, but oh my gosh, the people that, like, they've got a really high vibe, those guys that created it, because they win out for everyone at the end. It's an awesome ending. And so when you are really in your flow, magic happens. Powerful magic happens, right? So I remember, and I don't know if I've shared this story before on here, but when I was really first starting to wake up and I was starting to learn about my own magic, and I was doing past life regression stuff, I'd gone into a group, and there was, for 7 years, and I think it wasn't very long before I started doing it myself. There was about 5 or 6 of us in the group, and there was only me and the mentor that were facilitating the regressions, right? And I had done a session, so I'm new to this and actually still didn't believe in it. Me as Elizabeth didn't believe it. I called myself Liz at the time, and thought it was interesting and was getting some interesting results. Like, had some crazy experiences. But I did a session with this young boy I lived in a beach suburb in far north Queensland, in Cairns. And I did this session with this young boy, and when he came back into his body, he was still one of his past lives, right? And it was this army guy that was just about to jump off a cliff, and I totally forgot he's just about to jump off a cliff, right? He comes out to me and his mum, I'm having a cup of tea, and he's like, oh, when I came back in, I came back as that army guy. And I'm like, oh, you get all the qualities now of the army guy, forgetting the guy's just about to jump off the cliff, right? So this is about 20 years ago now. And anyway, I went home, his mum rang me, like, put the kids in the bath, I'm making dinner, everything's going well, and his mum rings me up and goes, hey, could we have, she said, could we have fucked up, right? And I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, she's like, don't know who that is, but it's not my son. He won't look at me, his voice is different, he's behaving really weird, blah blah blah. And I freaked out, right? And anyway, she's like, I don't know how you're going to do this, what you're going to do, because he now thinks you're a witch, and so he's not going to have another session with you. So at the time I was working with Archangel Michael, and I still do. I not in the same capacity. Before I saw there was more an assistance thing happening, but that doesn't happen now. Anyway, I raced into the bedroom and called out to Michael, like, oh my gosh, what do I do, right? And has anyone been in the space of like, holy shit, what have I done and how do I fix it? And so at the time I knew that when they were talking to me, because they called me Elizabeth and I called myself Liz. And so anyway, Michael says, you know how to do this, just go over in your light body and pull the army guy to the light and blah blah blah. So anyway, I did that. The woman rings me up. No, I rang her after I finished with dinner, so like maybe an hour later. She says to me, oh my gosh, tells me exactly when I did it, the whole thing. It blew me out. I got off the phone and put the phone down and went, oh, holy shit, I am a witch. Like, it totally freaked me out that I could do this from a distance, right? I think it was one of the first distance experiences that I had. Not long after that, I went up to the Daintree. There was no street lights, hundreds of stars, and I called out to the higher realms, right? Because I wanted to know that I wasn't a witch. I wanted to know that I was working for the good side, right? I wanted to know that what I was doing was not dabbling in something that, you know, that I had been led astray in. But deep down I knew that that was not the case, because of one of my mantras, and I don't even say it anymore because it's so deeply ingrained in me, is that everything happens to me for a reason, and I'm always looked after, right? And so and I just got a hit then, you know, like yes, yes, yes. And so anyway, long story short, I asked the question. I stand in my conviction. I'm like strong with, I want an answer here, and I want it now, and I want purity, I want clarity, I want to know exactly what's truth for me. And I got 3 shooting stars in a row. I'll never forget it. Like, to have that experience, to have stars come down, was so powerful. And it's one of the reasons I'm still here today, supporting women to shine their light, to understand who they are, to get into the vibration of who they're, like that power, that creative energy that they have, and to really, really start shining their light, and doing all the good things, right, that we're here to do. Living in the magic, experiencing the magic, being in alignment with our magic. Because when we're in our own lane and we stop, you know, get the blinkers on and stop looking at what other people are doing, unless there's sometimes that intuitively I'm guided to something to look at. Intuitively, my lane is you know, bumping up against somebody else's lane, so that I can go, yeah, there's another woman remembering who she is, you know, like, and or here's some information, or, you know, I was listening to podcasts yesterday as I went up to see Mum, and this downloaded from a podcast that was not even related to it, right? Things that totally like come in and inspire you and help you to stay in focus and stay in your lane and to live in your creative energy. When you do that, oh my gosh, we start expanding our energy. We influence thousands. If anyone's listened to or read anything from Stephen Hawkins, no, not Stephen Hawkins, David Hawkins, Power versus Force. When you raise your vibration, you are affecting thousands of people on the planet. Thousands of people. The more we stay in our lane, the more we live in our own music and in our own groove and live our true magic, we just by doing that, you're waking people up. You're influencing people to live in the same space. And it's fun. It's freaking fun. It's heaps of fun to be in your own space and to really start creating your own magic. Holy crap. I woke up this morning at 5, well, I woke up this morning at whatever time Tim's alarm goes off, right? But I told him, I don't want to go back to sleep. I want to wake up at the same time, and I'm going to do some stuff, right? I'm going to get into, you know, my daily morning routine of meditation and doing my choices and you know, getting into my vibe. And so as he was leaving, he came and said good night, and good morning, have a great day. And we opened the blinds, and you know, it was still dark. But right in front of me, because I'm 3 levels up in my house, right in front of me, there was the Southern Cross, right? It was just beautiful. The sky was dark, and right there, as I looked out in my bed, was the Southern Cross. When you live in your magic, you get to experience magic. You get to experience the extraordinary. You get to experience what you came here to do, ladies. What you came here to, what you chose to what your destiny is, right? And it's so much fun, and it's so rewarding and so fulfilling. So live in your magic. Get rid of all of the old stuff that's getting in the way. If you want to learn how to get rid of the stuff, DM me, and let's get this stuff happening for you so that you can start living in your own lane, right? The abundance that happens, the success in your business that happens, the beautiful romance that happens, the health that happens, the wealth that happens, the fun that happens. When you're in your lane and you're living in your own magic, everyone around you goes, what's going on for her? When everyone else is concerned about what's going on in various other, things that are going on in the planet, when you stay in your lane, you're raising your vibration and you're supporting those things to start crumbling. It's really important. Is the most important thing for us to be doing on the planet at this given moment, is to raise our vibration, live in our magic, and really stay in our lane and be the creators that we're here to be, right? So DM me if you want to get rid of all that crap that's getting in the way, and let's get this magic happening, right? Take care, enjoy your day, and we'll catch you soon. Live the magic, ladies.